All right, everyone, welcome back to the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by Big Marcel here. It is Tuesday, November 15th, 2022, special edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. Just got back from my trip, Marcel. Missed you guys, but back here to talk about the fights. Got to watch the fights down there. Dominican. Stayed up all night in the hotel in the dark with my headphones in while the baby was sleeping in the hotel room. And, dude, I woke up... I woke them up when Pereira knocked out Adesanya. Of course, right? How could I not? I was like, holy fuck, no way. And he was like, what happened? You should shut up, the baby's there. I'm like, Adesanya just got knocked out. She's like, shut up. It was awesome, Marcel. Anyways, glad to be back, guys. Got some guys in the chat here. Got Hype. Got Gorilla. It was good, man. My trip was great, dude. Thanks for asking. What's up, Joe? Glad to have you here, too. Marcel, what's up, man?
Yeah, all good, man. Looking forward to talk to you about it. Yeah, all good. Different day, Tuesday, right? Not used to it. We did it before on Tuesday, I think. We always did the
back in the day, like last year.
yeah. But it's been some time, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just better to do it the same day, just to get it.
Yeah, I agree.
So, anyways, today two podcasts for you guys. First one, this one, 281 recap, and then next podcast we'll do the preview of Spivak and Lewis. So we got some more guys in the chat. Antoine, what's up, man? Pay-per-view was a classic, one of the best of the year. Amazing card. Fucking shame they didn't give out more bonuses. Just horrible. We'll talk about that more. I know you have some thoughts. I do. Morning, gentlemen. George, what's up, man? A lot to talk about, George. A lot to talk about. I know you were hyped up for the episode, George. I always appreciate you in the chat, my friend. Marcel, just to get that out of the way, though, JPH is in the chat with you. What's up, buddy? I'm just very upset the UFC didn't give out extra bonuses for this card. Remember earlier this year, they were giving them every card, and all of a sudden they stopped doing it.
Dude,
if there's any card to do, it's this one, right?
You had some idiots replying under your.
You saw that, eh?
Tweet. Yeah, I was so annoyed. I just blocked these people, man. I don't want to have anything to do with these people. I mean, what's wrong with don't want to see fighters getting paid? And also,
I've never understood that either, Marcel. It doesn't make any sense. These guys don't make much money. They're not like NBA players making $50 million a year. They don't make much money.
But I don't understand why would you defend the promoter? I never understand that. It's so stupid. It's just super annoying to me.
Bootlickers, bro, bootlickers. But
yeah,
I agree. Aljo retweeted it. He agreed with me, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, and so I agree with Aljo, obviously. I'm adjusting some things.
No worries. He's pulling his pants up.
Yeah, I have my pants on this time, so it's not summer anymore. So
yeah. I'm gonna get some comments here, Joe. Yeah, I know, Joe. It's just a shame. What's up, man? Quad Pass here, SRO's here. A lot of people in the chat today, which is great. Looking forward to talking to you guys. Pay-per-view was amazing, man. It was an amazing pay-per-view. Yeah, we're talking about that. Someone said Natalia Silva, a couple people. Marcel's a simp for her. We'll talk about her in the next podcast, though. Let's go through 281. I want to go through this card. We'll go through this preview. The recap, and then we'll do the preview. We'll start a new podcast in I don't even know if we'll go for an hour, maybe 45 minutes on this one, and then we'll start the new one. Marcel, let's get into it. Sorry, go ahead.
We just talk, and if it's shorter, it's shorter.
Yeah, exactly. There's no exactly. I know exactly what you're saying. Okay. I mean, let's talk about the main event. So, the fight was going how I think we both thought, right? Adesanya actually used his grappling. To be fair, Pereira actually took down Izzy, I think, in the second round, right? Third round, Adesanya starts using wrestling Marcel. And I'm like, okay, this is exactly what me and Marcel talked about on the podcast. He's the better MMA fighter. He's going to wrestle a bit. He was up 3-1. It was just like the Usman-Edwards fight. He was up 3-1 as well. And his opponent I got to give the corner credit again. Glover and the other guys in the corner were yelling at him, you got to knock this guy out. And he did it. Like I said, Marcel, my family was sleeping, guys, in the hotel room. And I'm like, holy shit. Adesanya just got knocked out. 2 a.m, wake up, everyone. But to me, it was one of those. It was like the Edwards and Leon fight, Marcel, where I was like, holy fuck. You just don't expect it, right? The 5th round. Now we've had 3 fights this year, title fights, guys, in the 5th round where the champion lost the belt. Usman, Teixeira, and now Adesanya, right? In the 5th round, Marcel. If you had parlayed those 3 outcomes, I would own the Dominican Republic right now, Marcel.
And they likely were all 3 ahead going into the...
They were all up. I think Glover, that fight was probably
2-2, maybe.
2-2, I think, but he was going to win the last round, right?
Yeah.
He was going to win 3-2. But the other fights, Marcel, the other guys were up to 3-1 in both those fights.
Mm-hmm.
Insane fight. amazing fight. Amazing knockout. Like the fight was great. The end of the first round, man, is he not rocked Pereira bad? Pereira, trying to pronounce it correctly. But that fifth round, that knockout was insane. Marcel, give me your thoughts. Like, what was your reaction in real time?
In real time, I gotta be honest, man. I thought it was kind of an early stoppage. That's what my reaction was. I didn't post it because I knew people were going crazy if you say it. And then I was watching and I was like, okay, I can see the stoppage. I had no problem with it when you see it in the second and third time. The thing is, like with these championship fights, man, I'd rather see somebody get flatlined and it's clear than this, you know. And I think Adesanya kind of screwed himself, man, by I think he was hurt, you know, and I think he played a little bit with this, you know.
Put his head down too at one point.
He overplayed it, and the ref was like, okay, you're really hurt. I'm not going to intervene. I'm not going to say I think that Pereira would have get the knockout either way, man, even 5 or 10 seconds later, because Adesanya was too severely hurt. But I think he overplayed himself by doing the weird feints, what he did, which were needed. What I thought about the fight, yeah, man, I mean, Adesanya almost put him away, man, in the first round, at the end of the first round. Very good start from him. I think he fought really good. Only the second round, I think, was for Alex Pereira, but Pereira did a little bit more better. Yeah, man, it's difficult. You know, I think Pereira did what he had to do. He knew he was behind on the scorecards, and he knocked him out. Thing is, like, I look further to it, and I think Pereira. The funny thing is, and it's crazy, Adesanya for many people is the most difficult fight in the division. I think Adesanya is not the most difficult fight for Pereira in the division.
Whitaker.
You know, even listen, call me crazy. Even Vettori will be difficult for him.
I think Andre Muniz is interesting too. I mean, that guy's probably the best straight up grappler, right?
Yeah, imagine Hamza Chimaev going to middleweight.
Hamza too. Yeah, but I think the size will play there, Marcel, because this guy is huge. Like he's like a heavyweight almost. I think with 216 he rehydrated to. You saw that picture, right? He put on 30 pounds. Like that's a lot, you know. He's a big dude, right? Yeah, you know, we talked about last week. I'm not shocked he won, like, because again, he's got the guy's number. He's just, but the way the fight played out, it was surprising. You know what I mean? Like he's down and comes back and knocks him out. Amazing fight. You gotta do the rematch, right? Like that's the fight that makes sense. The rematch.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Adesanya has been a dominant champion. This was supposed to be a 6th title defense. Undefeated in middleweight. He only lost a fight at light heavyweight against Jan Blachowicz. So, yeah, you know, I'm not a big Adesanya fan. You know that, but he deserves it. You know, there is no way that he not deserves it. So yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah, I'm with you though. Like, I mean, he's a great fighter, guys. Like I've always said this, he's an amazing fighter. He's one of the best fighters of all time. Honestly, he really is in the UFC. Like he's. But Marcel, I don't really like his personality and stuff personally. I think he's taking the loss well. I give him credit. He's taking the loss well, but I don't like his personality, dude. I just, you know,
the same.
You know, I don't know if you saw that interview him talking to that girl, and he's like, "Oh, I had to jerk off to make weight." Like that's a fucking lie, dude. Like that doesn't weigh anything. He's lying. He was just horny. Like the thing. Remember, he made the Costa thing with the humping. That was weird too, in my opinion. Like, I don't know, man. This guy, he's a little weird. Like, you know, like
he's also not my cup of tea. But I mean,
he's an amazing talent though. There's no doubt. Right?
We gotta give him credit for that.
I'm just excited for a new era though, kind of. Like I like this new champion, Marcel. I think.
Yeah, me too. But you know, the thing here is like, if Adesanya lost in the 5th round after being dominated for 4 rounds, you don't really give him a rematch. But he was on. He was 3-1. He led the fight 3-1. You know, he didn't do bad.
Yeah.
Until that moment.
Yep.
So, yeah, he should get a rematch. You know, and imagine him winning the UFC. Gonna do a 3rd fight, but
they would probably right. The 5th fight, really, technically. I mean, Alex is 3-0 against him. You got the kickboxing fight, so MMA is different. But it's possible we do see imagine we see 5 and then Pereira ends up winning 4 of them. It's possible, right?
And the
crazy Adesanya. I mean, dude, I think the stuff he was saying is weird, man. Straight up, like, and I mean, I'm definitely not a virgin, but I'm a nerd, I guess. That's fun. Pereira ended Izzy's 18-fight win streak in kickboxing, and then 14-fight middleweight win streak. Yeah, I know it's pretty nuts.
The crazy stuff is that in all these 3 fights, the kickboxing fight, the first one, Adesanya did better and got knocked out. And the other one was a split decision, a close fight that Adesanya was also very competitive. So he's 3-0 against the guy. He could have been 3-0 or 0-3 against the guy. He could have been 3-0 against. So it's really weird, you know. And Yeah. Listen, man, Adesanya, a great fighter.
Yeah.
Just personality, really annoying to me. And I said it a long time.
I know.
So.
Dude, I'm on your side on this one. Like I said, I'm just excited for this guy to be champ, but again, he's gonna have to defend his belt at least once against Adesanya. Maybe, well, if Adesanya wins, maybe they would do trilogy right away. Probably not though, right? They would probably wait a fight, I would guess. Anyways, it's exciting time though. I think there's a lot of new champions now, right? Like if you look at the UFC belt holders, guys, like we have this year alone: Islam, Leon, Alex, Yuri. I guess Pereira won his belt back technically. I mean, that's kind of a new champ. Weili won her belt back. So like a lot of new champions. Although those 4 again are brand new champs. It's an exciting time, man. It's a great exciting time. It's a great time to be a UFC fan. John, what's up, man? Got John in the chat. This guy's always watching fights, man. This guy watches more fights than anyone, bro. More than Kaposa. Anything else you want to talk about the main event, or you want to move on?
Yeah, let's move on. Move on.
I think Weili Zhang, I mean, we called it, right? Like, it wasn't, I don't think it was a hard fight to call at all. Like, I honestly wasn't giving Carla any chance. Like, to me, it reminded me of that first Joanna fight. Remember where she just got TKO'd? The fact that she got submitted is extremely impressive to me. Like she got grappled. She got grappled, Marcel.
That's it. Yeah.
Right. That's why it's impressive, right? So Zhang's an absolute monster. But here's the thing, like, she looked amazing, okay? I think she beats most fighters. But, again, she lost to Rose last year twice. Last year. It wasn't that long ago. Rose is going to have to win a fight because her last fight was so horrible. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know how long everyone says she's going to be a dominant champion. I don't know. Like, she might lose a trilogy fight against Rose. Rose is going to have to come back. I was thinking, like, Rose versus Marina Rodriguez, and then you could do Weili against either Jan or Lemos. Marcel? What do you think, Lemos? Would that be the fight you would like to see?
I would make the Jan fight, two Chinese against each other. For me, Lemos, everybody's throwing Lemos in the fire, But listen, I know Lemos won against Marina Rodriguez. She was 7 before that, and she lost recently to Jessica Andrade still. So it's not, for me, I would say Jan. Jan had also a recent loss against Marina Rodriguez, I know, but that was close. It could have gone either way. That was a split decision, if I remember correctly.
And then there's Dern out there too. I mean, Dern could fight Rose too, right? That would be a good fight.
That's like possible too.
Marketable fight.
Yeah, you just wanted to say Dern's name. I know why.
Because she's single now, right? Everyone's talking about
that's
her, right?
Why you wanted to say
to me, this is just. I'm just like, wow. Like, I think she's a great fighter. I think she's a really good looking, attractive woman. Obviously, like she'll do fine in her life, Marcel. We'll just say that she's gonna do. I'm sure her DMs are flooded right now. All these MMA things.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I'm with you, man. I'm with you, but like, I just don't know how many fights Zhang will win as champ because I think this division you're going to see a lot of change in the champion. We've seen that throughout the division's history since Joanna lost, right?
To be really honest, man, I only see Rose making a chance again. And the thing with Rose is she has to have a right mindset again, and that's always the thing with Rose. That's why you actually never can bet on Rose because Rose is never the same when she fights. Sometimes she's a killer, and sometimes she is that girl who is shying away from everything and don't want to have anything to do with it. So that's the thing. I don't think Esparza will ever defeat Zhang Weili. She's just not good enough to beat her. And then to look at the others, I don't see the others also beat Zhang Weili, to be really honest, man. She's too complete, in my opinion. The others are more specialists. Marina Rodriguez is more a stand-up girl, Lemos is more all-round, but so stand-up is also more that good. Dern is more of a grappler, obviously, Jan Shonan is more of a stand-up. But if you look at Zhang, listen, man, if you can submit Carla, you are good on the ground as well, So I was impressed, and I think Zhang Weili will be champion for some time. And Jessica Andrade is now to flyweight, right? To fight Lauren
she's
Murphy.
Right there too. We keep forgetting about her. I mean, I know she lost to Zhang a couple years ago, but like she's still a great fighter. Let's get some comments here. Feed Pereira to hey, what's up, Georgie? He's in the chat. Feed Alex to Roman. Roman's got to win a few more fights, but I mean, I don't know if he's ranked yet, but he's close to the top.
No, it's very close. I think
he's probably 16 right now.
Yeah.
Pereira, Wacko gave me chills. Same with me, Joe, and also the face paint at the weigh-in, Marcel. Like when I saw that, I was honestly really considering changing my pick. I really was. I don't like to change my pick, but like it just made me think like this guy is just on a different level. Like you know what I mean, Marcel? Like
what I thought when I saw that face paint. It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
I loved it. First
It was
reverse,
great. Looked great. Yeah, true.
first reverse crucifix choke. They're calling it just a rear naked choke from crucifix. I mean, I guess you're right, George, but they're just calling it a rear naked choke. It seems like, but I know what you're saying because like I haven't seen that the way she got it.
Yeah.
Before. Andrade next. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm with Georgia. That fight never played out, the Andrade fight. Like she did knock her out. It was quick. Like I think she like got her in the clinch and just started kneeing her to death, basically. So you don't know. I think this is the other thing. The second fight with Rose was close too. That's true with Zhang, but she did lose. I'm just saying, like I do think Rose, like the last fight, everyone's down on her now, but like she knocked out Zhang with a head kick in 20 seconds too. Like she's really good, you know. But regardless of how bad that last fight was, she's a great fighter.
You know what it is with that first fight, man? I think there were many people who were completely sure that Zhang was going to win back then. You know?
I picked Rose, remember?
I picked Rose as well.
Yep.
It's on second thought. I first picked Zhang, then I picked Rose. But
I remember.
I think many people thought Zhang was easily going to win. I read it all over the internet. Yeah. And if you read it as a fighter as well, and I know she's probably not good in English, but there are probably a lot of Chinese fans who think the same way, you know, and that she's like, yeah, I'm definitely going to win. And she also didn't want to accept the lose against Rose. Do you remember the first time? She was like, yeah, fluke, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think the second time she lost, but it was a lot closer, you know. And I think she got much, much better, man, in the couple of months, even year that she fought, you know.
100%.
And for Rose, it's like Rose can be the very best in the division, but she got her mindset right, you know. And sometimes she doesn't have that right, and that's the problem with Rose. It's more like a mental thing than it's a physical thing for Rose all the time. So that's how I look at it.
And if they go to China, that Yan fight makes a lot of sense, man. Like it just makes sense, right? So
of course.
It seems like a fight to make. Exactly, UFC China. I haven't heard anything. You heard anything?
No. Nothing, man.
What's up, Antoine? Who do you think guys in this next title shot 115? Yeah, I mean, I think it's Lemos or Yan. I don't think it'll be Rose. I think Rose will have to win one fight. Like I said, Rose and Marina Rodriguez makes sense to me. That's the fight they could do. Rose and Mackenzie Dern. Like that fight makes sense too. They're going to give her someone coming off a loss. Do not do the trilogy fight between Rose and Carla. For the love of God, don't ever want to see that fight again. I don't even know who's like Carla's. I think screwed. She's the one who's screwed. She's never getting close to a title shot again. UFC's gonna keep her as far away from as possible. She could probably go. She could be like John Fitch, right, where he won like 10 fights and still didn't get a shot. Remember, Marcel? Like that's the territory to be in now. I think
Carla's just a marketing nightmare for the UFC.
They like fans don't like. They booed her the entire time, guys. They booed her the entire.
Kind of sad, to be really honest.
But... I know what you're saying that she's the champ, and listen, like it's not her fault that fight was horrible. Like it takes two to tango, right? Both fighters are at fault, but like I was talking to someone made the point on Twitter. One sec, Marcel. They were like, I pay $80 for the pay per view. I don't really want to pay $80 to watch Carla Esparza fight, and I get it.
I understand.
Yeah, I get
but
it.
I kind of listen, man. I was kind of surprised how people were kind of booing Pereira and were kind of cheering for Adesanya. I didn't expect that. Definitely not after last fight, you know, where people really were booing Adesanya after that Cannonier fight, but they were really like cheering for him in New York. So I was really surprised by that. I was like, okay, no, I don't mind, but okay.
Well, fair enough. What's up, Torin? How's it going, man? Let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. Obviously, fight of the night here, guys. Dustin Poirier submits Michael Chandler 3-round. Man, fight of the year. Well, not fight of the year. Fight of the night, obviously. Excuse me. Not fight of the year. It was a great fight, though. Don't get me wrong. Definitely deserved the bonus. Like, both guys put on the show. Fight was amazing. First round. I just want to talk about the fight. Let's go through it again. First round, I picked Chandler. I was the only guy in the oddsbreaker stuff to pick him. And I swear to God, Marcel, that first round, I was like, I am such a smart genius. Because I thought he was going to knock him out. He had him teed him against the fence. And then he goes for a takedown. Rogan and DC are like, that's so smart. Why was that smart? He had him hurt bad. He had him rocked. That was his best chance to win the fight, to finish him against the strikes against the cage with the TKO. The ground pound, the takedown there was not necessary. Go ahead.
If Rogan and DC saying it's smart, it's probably not smart.
Bro, it wasn't a smart move. It wasn't, guys. Like in the second round where he was hurt badly, after obviously Poirier fucked him up at the end of the round. Like Chandler was winning that whole round until like the last 30 seconds. Then he lost the round. That's what happened there. His face was completely screwed up. He's wearing that mask now. It's awesome. That second round, that's when you go to wrestling. That's what it was smart then to go for the takedown because he was rocked. He's hurt. Lays on top for 5 minutes. Fight gets tied. The odds had a pickup going in the third round. No one knew what was going to happen. And then Chandler kind of got tired and Poirier took advantage and submitted him. Poirier's a legend. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. I'll tell you that right now. I know he wasn't like an undisputed champ, but he was an interim champ. He's some of the best wins ever. 2 against Conor, Chandler, Alvarez, Gaethje, Holloway. And his resume is fucking insane. It's insane. Poirier's an amazing fighter, right? Chandler is an amazing fighter too, but Marcel, his fight IQ is a little lacking at time, in my opinion. Like, I think if he just wrestled, he would have won this fight. If he had just, like, not even engaged with the striking, I think he could have out-wrestled him and, not got taken all that damage in the first round. But he wanted to put on a show. And again, you can't argue with all the bonuses he's won, right? Like, Dana White loves the guy, but I don't know, Marcel. Like, I think he could be the champion if he fought smarter. I really do with that with Chandler. But, to me, the durability is a bit of an issue. Obviously, been finished again. First submission loss. I mean, that's impressive, too, by Poirier. But he took a lot of damage in this fight. He's going to be out for a while. Like, again, you guys see the video that's floating around talking to his 2 sons. The one that Mike Russell hates, that video, Marcel. You know the one I'm talking about?
I don't understand why it's such a problem.
I thought the video was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah. Why not? It's just, listen, man. Everybody, it's their own thing if they want to post something with their kids or not. If Chandler wants to post that, and there's nothing wrong with posting that, why not? Let him post that. And just why have to hate on the dude, And he's like,
they hate him because he's got 2 black children, but he adopted them, and like I think it's commendable. Like those kids wouldn't have had the life they have now without him and his wife adopting them. You know what I mean?
Dude,
that's the truth,
why? Yeah, but why would we care about the color?
I don't care at all. I think it's
I know
that everyone's bringing it up. Like that's the comments. If you look at the video, that's like every comment. It's really sad, eh? That's what people see life, man. They see it in black and white. It's not the way you should see life. That's how a lot of people see it. To me, it's just a father with his 2 sons. That's what I looked at it as,
Dude, it can be fucking purple. I don't give a shit.
I know, same. I loved it. I thought the video was amazing. I love Chandler. Like, I just love watching this guy fight. But again, took so much damage. He's 36 years old, Marcel. Like, he's not. Is he a title contender really at this point? Like, I don't know.
For me, he's not. For me, it's not. I really like the call out from Gamrot for Chandler.
You call out Chandler? That's an amazing fight. I'd love to see that fight.
Great fight, yeah. And both guys lost their last fight. Yeah. And I gotta say something with Chandler with the fight because you didn't mention it.
Yeah.
Really dirty move by leaking. Or almost spitting blood into Poirier's mouth, what he did there, man. I would have spit it back at him if he did it to me.
Not disagreeing with that, by the way. I don't disagree with that. He definitely played a dirty fight, but I don't think he's a dirty fighter. This is the first time he's really done that. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it takes away from what he's done in his career. I know a lot of people are really down. They're like, oh, he's a cheater. He's a dirty cheater. I've seen way worse cheating in fights, Marcel, honestly. Like, listen, I'm not condoning it. The referee should have taken a point. He should have. That's in the rules, but you know that, right, Marcel? Like, they never call that because guys don't do it anymore. But fish hooking is a foul. Like, that should have been a point deduction.
Yeah, I listen, man. The thing is, like, and then he fish hooked him, Poirier. The thing with Chandler is, if he fish hooked him, and you saw they showed on the replay, and he got that choke there, he would have been fucked. They would have DQ'd him. Because of that, because you got the replay, and Poirier was immediately pointing at it that happened. Listen, man, I like Chandler. I think he's a good fighter, and these things we know all these kind of wrestling things or wrestling moves these guys do all the time, and this was a little bit more visual for us. I think that there happen a lot more sometimes, things you don't see, like holding gloves, holding shorts, grabbing the cage. And this is another thing. This is just a little bit more nastier with the blood,
But it's technically the same thing. It's 1 point deduction. It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Just like a cage grab, really. They're all the same. They should be. But again, the ref, I guess, he was telling him that Poirier was like saying, but the ref didn't listen. What was the ref in this fight? Dan Murliotta. Well, no surprise there, I guess. Anyways, amazing fight though. Poirier. I mean, Islam. Like, could he fight Islam?
Islam is fighting Volkanovski, right?
They just announced that. Am I talking about maybe if he wins that fight? Like,
I think what they should do, but they're really going to stack that card then, they should do Volkanovski Islam, what they do, and they should do Poirier against Dariush. Yeah. And have Dariush as the backup.
I feel like Dariush deserves a shot right now. I don't blame them for doing the pound for pound king. Volkanovski, if anyone deserves it, it's the number 1 pound for pound guy. Obviously, him moving up is amazing. Fiziev's another guy too, Marcel. Like he's right there too. He knocked out RDA. I mean, the guy's incredible too.
Like I told you last week, I think Fiziev is likely going to fight Gaethje.
You've heard this, or
yeah, like
that fight's and Gaethje was at the event, I think, right? So I think he's healing up now with the nose. That fight makes sense as a 5-round fight night card, I guess.
Yeah,
maybe, but like I would hope they do it when they go to a fan arena, not at the Apex. I want that fight would be great.
They should scrap all those Apex
I know,
shit. Only do it when you really have no location and you want to hold a card.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like, oh, we are now lazy. We just go to the Apex.
It's just easier for them.
Yeah, but also, you know how much a ticket costs to go to those fights at the Apex? It's ridiculous, dude.
I know.
It's like 3 times the price you pay for the best ticket in the venue, non-pay-per-view.
I know, it's nuts. It's crazy. Get some comments here, guys. A few comments.
And then they say like, oh, we show you the how do you say that? The changing rooms. Yeah, whoopity fucking do. Who gives a shit? You know? Do you really think I want to see the changing room for $900? I mean, I don't give a shit.
Let me get some comments. People are talking about Dustin, how amazing he is. His resume, he's going in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
Adesanya cheated first round legal strike. Oh, after the bell, right at the end. The ref or John Anik was saying if you throw the strike before the bell rings, it still counts. I guess. I think the ref should get in there sooner, personally.
Yeah.
But, right? I thought the ref should have gotten there sooner.
Yeah, I don't blame Adesanya.
Yeah, I understand why the UFC keeps holding because it's cheaper. Is that what flag is that? What country is that? Marcel, look at that one. See the guy's flag in the what country is that, Toron?
I don't see a flag. I only see
beside his name. There's a little flag. I was wondering what country that is. You see it?
PA.
I'm not sure. Anyways, maybe you'll tell us.
Palestina.
I don't know if it's that. Chris Gutierrez knocks out Frankie. I mean, this fight shouldn't have been made. Like, to me, this is just egregious matchmaking. As soon as it was announced, Marcel, I remember talking on the Discord, I was like, oh man, this is not going to end well for Frankie. Like, and it's just brutally knocked out, like ice cold in front of his family. His kids are there. All 3 of his kids, his wife. Like, they did not have to do this to Frankie. I understand it from the UFC's point of view. They're trying to build up a new star, I guess, in Gutierrez, who's an absolute monster who we've loved forever, Marcel. This guy's a beast. But, like, they could have just given him Cruz or, like, not Rob Font. I mean, well, actually, he could have did Font. But I'm saying, like, a veteran, like, even a rematch with, like, Munoz, like, something that's, ranked but also winnable. Like, they gave him a non-ranked guy who we all thought was going to knock him out, and he knocked him out. I don't know, Marcel. It just doesn't sit right with me, the matchmaking here. But, good for Gutierrez. He gets the job done. The Edgar retires. But, Marcel, remember last week I talked about the podcast? I was like, I'm not convinced he's going to retire. I think he's going to do boxing. And he talked about it last week, Marcel. After he did the show, he's like, I'm interested in boxing. So, yeah, exactly, guys. Because I thought it was Dominican at first because I was just there. But it's Panama. Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's a Panama flag.
I don't see it. Can you show it to me?
It's right on his. If you look at Tora Brown's thing, it's right beside it. But if you just type in the Panama flag on Google, you'll see it. It's cool. I was just wondering. They did Frankie dirty. They could do the right favor. They could have. Gutierrez low T. He's a beast. His feints look so good in this fight, guys. His hip feints, Marcel.
Listen, as long as Frankie doesn't go to Big UFC, I'm cool.
I hope he doesn't, but I think he'll do boxing. I think he's going to fight someone. I don't know who it's going to be, but he'll box someone. But what do you think Gutierrez is like? The feints, the footwork, the leg kicks.
Man, but we both called it. We both called it that it was going to happen. And I would listen, man. I was really sad, because of it. Because I really was hoping. I knew Gutierrez likely was going to win. I really was hoping it was going to be a decision, and not like this.
It's like the worst case scenario, right?
Yeah, man, brutal. And we also have to give. I want to give credit to Chris Gutierrez as well.
Follow up right with the punch.
Oh, not only that, he was super respectful afterwards. His coach, Mark Montoya, who also got, cancer. Yeah,
he found he had cancer last week, and he still cornered him.
Yeah, and he was like, when he saw him, he hugged him. Then that stupid security guy tried to get him to take him up. What an idiot! I hate these guys.
Him or something.
I really hate these guys. They don't really understand.
They don't
what's
watch
going
the sport.
on.
They don't understand. They don't watch. They don't know the camaraderie. There's no respect at the end of the day. Like, obviously, they were talking shit at the press conference. Gutierrez was saying something to Frankie's probably like, I'm going to knock you out or something. I don't know what they were saying, but at the end of the day, they're two competitors, and someone had to win, someone had to lose. And
it was really respectful, man. It was really respectful in the cage, and I think I think Gutierrez did that perfectly, man. If he was going to cheer like crazy and didn't care about Frankie, I think he would have getting booed probably, But listen, man, the audience saw as well that he was respectful, did a great job knocking him out in the first round with a knee, and people respect that. And he's now in the rankings, and so should he, So yeah, great for him.
I agree. All right, let's get to the next one here. Dan Hooker defeats Claudio Puelles. This was our worst pick on the card by far. This was not a good pick by us, Marcel. We're gonna pat ourselves in the back for some of the ones lower on, but this one was
horrible.
Bad. This was a bad pick. I mean, this fight wasn't competitive at all, and I saw a lot of people talking about like how the fight it would either be Puelles submitting with that knee bar or just getting destroyed, and that's exactly what happened. Didn't have the grappling. Didn't have. What disappointing, Marcel? The conditioning was really bad. Like the cardio. Like he was gassed out like at the end of the first round.
Adam,
God,
I think he was legit scared to throw with Dan Hooker. That's what
he looked horrible. I can't believe how bad he looked. Like,
dude, he was like a BJJ guy from the early 90s who didn't want to strike and just want to lay on his back and somebody going into his guard. That's what he was doing. And the only good thing he did was that Imanari roll going for that knee bar, But after that, horrible, man. And I even tweeted out like, deduct him a point, man. But at this moment, because he's really like not wanting to fight, and then at that moment, Dan Hooker gave him that kick to the body, and he went down, and it was over. And I was happy Peterson stopped the fight, and I actually thought that he was going down without anything again, and I thought Peterson had it,
The flop. Yeah. Remember that fight between Verdum and Overeem, the second one in Strikeforce, where Verdum just kept going. That's what it reminded me of. It was awful to watch. I think he could have been disqualified at some point for not getting up.
Yeah.
I think it was close to being at the point. He looked horrible. I'm just shocked how bad the guy looked. Like, I'm not surprised he lost, obviously, because he was supposed to lose according to odds, but like how bad he looked truly surprised me, guys. Go ahead.
Adam, this is a fight that listen, if Dana has a bad day and he is there, he cuts you.
Yeah.
If you fight like this. And he might be lucky that he had a great resume coming into
five fight wins in a row, so he's not getting cut. But
absolutely not. But
he wasn't ready for the top 15, eh?
No, so bad. I didn't expect that at all, man. So
I was sitting there shaking my head. I'm like, why did I pick this guy?
Got to give credit to Dan Hooker here, man. Right. I didn't give him credit enough, I think, and I overrated Puelles' his game here. I think Hooker did perfect.
I thought Puelles would be. I honestly thought he'd be a little bit more competitive on the feet. I didn't think he'd win the striking, but I thought it'd be enough to like make it competitive and then get
to the ground.
Exactly, but it didn't play out like that at all. All right, let's get some comments. Hooker's such a coward for not falling Puelles to the ground. Yeah. Oh yeah, that Ryan Hall fight. What was it? The last one with Hall, or was it the fight with Pereira? I can't remember. Remember the one he was just going on his back? I can't remember what fight it was now. What would happen if Adesanya knocked out Pereira with that strike after Zimmer? Apparently, again, because he was throwing it before the bell rang, it would have counted, I believe. But because again, it's the round. The ref's supposed to like stop the fighters or something like that. It's kind of weird. Like the bell signifies in the round, but until the ref gets in, that it still goes on. You know that rule or something like that. Like people talked about that. It's just weird. Like I don't know. I think people are confused about it. I'm a little confused about it. Like, but. I thought the punch was late, but apparently it was fine. Thought Puelles was better. Yeah, he did freeze. It's like the stage got to him a little bit too, Marcel? Like opening up a huge pay-per-view, like he didn't. It's weird though, because like I thought the press conference he looked fine, the weigh-ins and everything, and then just really shit the bed. All right, our boy Renato Bacanio, Marcel submits Brad Riddell first round, and then legendary post-fight interview, like one of the best post-fight interviews I've ever seen. I've watched it like 20 times. I love it. Renato Bacanio needs money. I love this guy. And they didn't give him a bonus again. They're fucking assholes for not giving this guy a bonus. Like, this guy deserves a bonus. I'm glad he got ranked. I'm glad he's 13th because he is a top 15 guy. There's no doubt he is. His ground game is incredible. Guys, his last 6 wins are by rear naked choke. If you go to the ground with this guy, you're getting submitted. His chain is still questionable, Demi Marcel. Like, he's been knocked out, but the guy's a absolute beast. I love watching this guy fight. I love the progression in his career. Loved everything about this performance. Riddell retiring or stepping away from the sport temporarily, whatever he said that he's doing. I mean, I understand it because he's lost 3 straight fights, but to Brad's credit, they were to Fiziev, Turner, McCann. Those are top 3 of the top 15 guys in the world. So I still think Brad Riddell's a good fighter. He beat Drew Dober last year. He beat him in an amazing fight. So I still think he's a good fighter, man. I understand why he's stepping away. He needs a mental break. All the training, it's grueling, right? Like he needs a break. He needs a year off probably. But I think he'll fight again, Marcel. I do think we'll see Brad Riddell come back and fight again one day. Probably like a year, maybe 2 years, but I think he'll come back. But for Canio, this top 15 spot really opens up a lot of doors for him, right? Like, again, Dan Hooker, I think he called him out. That fight makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
The Jalen Turner fight would be great too, Marcel. That'd be a great fight. Is Magulov have a fight? If not, that would be a great fight. I would love to see that fight too. Is Magulov have a fight booked?
Yeah, against Arman.
The winner or loser of that fight makes sense. Either of those guys. Gamrot makes sense. Like RDA, he lost to him, obviously. Although again, like he said, Marcel, they called him in Brazil on 4 days' notice. He was eating steaks and drinking beer in his backyard. He took the fight. And remember, that 5th round, he won that 5th round of that fight, Marcel. He's a beast. I love this guy. And again, what do you think of the post-fight interview?
Yeah, it was very funny, man. I think the word "fuck" is very well known in Brazil, obviously. So, it was funny.
I mean, it's impressive how often he was able to like use it as a what's it called? Adjective. It's awesome. He's got some comments. McCann wants money. He does. What's up, Matthias? When you rank, does your purse increase? I mean, technically it should, but like no, unless you get a new contract, which he might get. They might get him a new contract. I don't know what his deal was like, but just because your rank doesn't automatically give you a purse bonus, which again it should, it really should, but it doesn't. Hope to see Brad. I think he'll fight again, John. I don't think he'll retire. By the way, Marcel, you see the picture he posted? If you look at it, like I thought it was like bloody underwear at first, and then I clicked on it. It was like his gloves, right?
Yeah, I thought so.
Bandage. I honestly did. I'm like, what the hell?
I thought he was training with Bryce Mitchell. So,
I was like, man, this guy must have suffered a horrible injury in the fight. Like he's bleeding out of his ass or something, and then it's just his hands. Let's go to the next fight here. I mean, Dominic Reyes is done, right? Like he's done, right, Marcel? Winespan knocks him out quick. Like, I mean, this is brutal.
It's a very tough knockout, I mean, what can you say about it? I mean, it's like what can you say? He hasn't been looked the same since he lost to John Jones, in a fight that he could have won, it's crazy, and great for Span,
Miss weight, that's the only thing that takes away from it, because he would have got a bonus, I think. I honestly think he would have, because this was such a good knockout.
Also so weird that you only can weigh him once in New York, and the title fight can weigh
2 hours.
2
Makes
hours.
No sense.
So weird, Yeah,
he would probably make the weight. It's just that's what I was thinking. Like, how is he not going to be able to cut half a pound? He's a light heavyweight. I will say this though. I saw him when I went to Brazil 3 years ago, Marcel, to watch that card. He fought Little Nog in that card, and he was on the same flight as me. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3". Ryan Spann is like 6'5", but I think he looks like he was 6'7", 6'8", and he's thick too. Like, it's amazing. He makes 205. He's a monster. I think he's a great fighter. His record in the UFC is really good now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7-2 with 5 finishes. Excuse me. So it's impressive. I will say this too. I think him saying he's never trained before was complete bullshit. I don't believe that for a second. He's been with that camp with Save for years.
Yeah.
I think it's disrespectful to his past opponents to say he's never trained for a fight. I don't. And if he had trained and he still missed weight, that doesn't make any sense. Even more so. I just maybe he's trained harder, he's trained differently, but I don't think he's saying I've never trained for a fight is. I just don't. I don't believe that for a second. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. I just I call.
I also
right
don't.
Away. Yeah, I called bullshit right away. But I will say this: the guy looks so much better than he did a year ago when Anthony Smith dusted him. Remember that? That was a year ago. That fight wasn't close, Marcel. And I picked Spann in that fight, and I was like, man, this guy's not as good as I thought. But now he looks amazing again. I'm like, okay, maybe he was as good as I thought. He's been a hard guy to kind of predict his fights lately.
Yes.
So he's kind of like, even the last fight with Kutalaba, I don't think we picked him in that fight. And he obviously submitted him. He's very well-rounded. He's very dangerous. I do think Reyes should really consider retiring because of how brutal and lost. It's not because he's lost 4 straight fights. Because he's lost the best. It's because of how he's lost. And he's getting brutally knocked out. He might get one more fight if he sticks around, because I know Dana White does like him, obviously. And his record in the UFC is 6-4. But again, these losses are brutal. And do you think he'll fight again, or you think he's going to retire? What do you think?
The thing is, he already took 1.5 years off for this fight. So, I mean, well, what can we expect? I have no idea, man.
Does he go to Bellator or PFL? Does he follow Thiago Santos to PFL and try to win that tournament?
I don't know.
I mean, if they release him, or if he's able to negotiate a deal with them, that kind of makes sense. Because right now, I look at the top 15 and I'm not picking him against Hill or even like Smith or any of these guys really. Marcel,
Walker.
like, who would you pick?
I don't know. It's
I mean, I guess he could win, but I would be afraid he gets brutally knocked out with like a flying knee or something. Like, I guess he could beat Paul Craig. I guess he could win that fight. Paul Craig is ranked 8.
You mean Paul Craig?
Why is Paul Craig ranked? Why is he ranked above Volkan Oezdemir? What the hell? Didn't he just lose to him like last month?
Yeah.
Hey, the UFC rankings are complete shit. I think like that doesn't make any sense. Anyways,
Paul Craig.
Yeah, Paul Craig. Yeah. Can you do your Alex Pereira or Pereira? Like that's it. I think I got it. Can you say it? Can you try?
Alex Pereira, but
yeah,
why?
You didn't read John Hank's tweet, man.
Yeah, but why? I never understand. Sometimes they say Pereira, then they say Pareja.
I know. They had 3 different ways of saying it, but you know what was even worse? That Silvana Gomez Juarez fight, DC was fucking her up the whole fight. I don't know if you noticed
but
that.
DC is fucking up everything all the time. So when he's with Joe Rogan commentating, so yeah, what's new?
Yeah. Oh, someone mentioned the Johnny Walker Spann fight. He did lose, but like that, there was back of the head punches.
Yeah, and a lot.
Yeah, like he got knocked to the back of the head. Safe was yelling at the ref. All right, next fight, your girl Erin Blanchard. I mean, we're not surprised because we both called this. This fight again. Why did they make this fight? They build up Molly McCann. Everyone's like saying now, oh, they did it on purpose. So like she stole her thunder, but they didn't have to do. They could have given her someone else to steal the thunder from. You know, like why Molly? I thought they were building up Molly to be like a UK star, like to headline the fight Nick or a co-headline or something. She just got destroyed. The hype's gone completely now. I get it. Blanchard's got the hype, but I already liked her. This fight was a complete blowout. Marcel, if this reached the end of the first round, I would have scored a 10-7. I honestly would have. Would you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone just said in the chat. I would have had 10-7. I really would have. Fight was close. Dude.
104 against 0 rounds.
Technically, I'm looking at UFC stats. They did change it after 93-7. But I'm wondering where McCann landed 7 strikes in that fight because I didn't count any. That was brutal, nasty, vicious. She called out Andrea Lee after the fight. I honestly feel like she destroys Andrea Lee. I think they could skip that fight and go push her up against either Araujo, who's ranked 7, or even like a Lauren Murphy, who's number 4. I think they could even do that fight.
I gotta say,
yeah,
the only thing that still worries me about Aaron sometimes is her striking, because I think her striking isn't that good yet, and you saw that clearly in the JJ Aldrich fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's kind of still worry me, but her ground game is great. Molly McCann, the moment she hit the floor, she was done. And I was like, she's gonna finish her, or just she's gonna keep her in that crucifix and elbowing her, because she didn't do too much damage with it, but she did a lot of she hit her a lot, and a certain way she went for that Kimura the first time didn't work. Second time she could step over and she got it. So good win for her, man. And I was surprised, man. I saw so many people saying on the internet that Molly was going to win this one. And I was like, how? She has to probably knock her out early in the first round to get that win, because Aaron will control her and probably finish her, So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. Excuse me. Couple comments here. Murphy on draw. That's right. It is booked. Okay, forgot about that one. There's so many fights coming up, guys. She could fight like the loser. I don't think she'd fight the winner, because the winner would be like really high ranked. Fighting, you like the Lee fight? I guess the Lee. I just think she takes Lee down and just smashes her in the ground. I personally like. I think Araujo. Araujo beat Lee, right? So a few months ago. That's why I think that fight would. It doesn't matter. She's coming up lost too. Any of these girls make sense. Anyways, Erin Blanchard's great, but she's only 23. They don't have to rush her. Exactly. She's exactly Joe or George. That's exactly what I was thinking. But again, she is ranked in the top 10 now, right? She's number 10, so she's not hiding anymore. I've also, by the way, I've seen a lot of people compare, say Casey O'Neill is like on the same level of prospect. I think this girl's above her. I think she's the best prospect in the division. I think you called it, Marcel. You were the guy that was banging the drum. Although I still will stand Marcel on that fight with Norma Dumont. If that happened, then she would have lost that fight. Because it would have been a featherweight against a flyweight. Now they're trying to make Norma go down to 135, which I don't think she'll be able to unless she cuts off her thighs, because she's got some big quads. I don't see her making 135, by the way, Marcel. I think that she'll miss weight and they'll probably end up cutting her or something. Seems like they're getting rid of women's featherweight because they let go of Aspen and they don't want that division. I'm with this guy too. I don't really get it. Like, they're building them up, they're putting all these cards together, knocking people in highlight real fast, and then they throw at the wolves. Like, Patty's got way more fights than Molly. He's getting a slow build. He's fighting Jared Gordon, who's a tough fighter but a beatable fighter. trade Norma to Bellator for who? Corey Anderson? Like, who are they going to get back? There's got to be someone though, John. Maybe there's someone fun. I think I wish there was more trades in MMA. The only trade was DJ versus Askren for Askren, right? That's the only trade I think. Petrosky defeats Turman. Marcel opening up the televised main prelims. He looked good, Petrosky. It's weird. This guy's weird to watch because we talked about like he like looks like he's gassing out and then he gets his second win in every fight. Marcel, it's really weird. Like I thought he was gonna lose this fight after like the first round and a half, and then he got his gas back and Turman looked awful after that. Not gonna lie, after I saw Turman and Reyes get lose, I was like, man, I'm like, what kind of training didn't get there in that camp? And then Pereira wins. I'm like, okay, never mind, it's a good camp. But any thoughts on this one? Petrosky is obviously 4-0 now in the UFC.
Yeah, man. I was at a certain moment I thought Petrosky was fading, man, but then he came back in the third round. Was probably not the best. It was one of the, I want to say it was a bad fight, but it was one of the least good fights on the card, probably, you know.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good either.
No, just a good win for Petrosky. A fight he should win, in my opinion. And he did that. So, yeah.
I'm with you on that one. All right. A couple other comments here. Trey Nora for Levon Shokeli. He's fighting this weekend, right? He's fighting Roman Feraldo, I think. Is that the fight?
Yeah, man, he's fighting Roman Feraldo.
Bro, that's a brutal fight. That guy's so good.
Opener in the main card.
That guy. We'll talk about Bellator on the next one. Marcus, what's up, man? Who stock dropped the most? Great question. I think Poirier. Someone just said in the chat. For me, that's the guy because I thought he was honestly legit. And then obviously you can talk about Frankie. I mean,
I'm probably for many people Molly as well, but
Molly too.
Was never high to
Dominic
me,
Reyes. I mean, he's also his. Brad Riddell. I mean, there's a lot of options. Still Choi. We'll talk about him. Oddman Azatar even. We'll talk. Actually, let's go to that fight right now. Did you pick for Vol?
God.
Did you pick for Vol? I can't remember who you picked. Who'd you pick?
Matt Frevola I picked.
Nice pick. And last week he was actually the underdog. Or no, he was the favorite, and then the line flipped, and he was the underdog at the end. So you got a nice underdog pick there. Go ahead.
Gus is out, and OSP is now fighting Felipe Lins.
Ugh, what a horrible fight. Gustafson, Felipe Lins is so awful to watch. Gustafson just never fights. He just pulls up every fight. Frevola looks great, right? The steamroller. The walkout was awesome. He came with that Timmy Trumpet song. I love that song. 4-4 now in the UFC, but two straight wins by knockout in the first round. He's figured it out, you know? He's just figured it out. He's turned into this action fighter who's must-watch TV. And Marcel, he's been on in his UFC career, out of his 8 fights, 6 of them were on pay-per-view. His last 4 are on pay-per-view. The UFC likes him. They're putting him on pay-per-views. I expect him to get another pay-per-view, probably in February, March, April, something like that, on that pay-per-view card. And his Twitter is hilarious because he asked people, should I stand and bang or wrestle? And the stand and bang thing got the vote. You saw that, right? That's so funny. I like this guy. He's grown on me, man. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Like I told you, man, I didn't thought he was going to knock him out. You know, I thought he was going to use his ground game, which he didn't, but he knocked him out. I think Azatar looked really off. That's what I think. And I thought Frevola looked on point, you know, and that's why he could knock him out. Good win for Frevola. I wasn't shocked that he won, but the way he won, I was shocked. I didn't expect him to knock him out. Like I said, I thought he would have get him to a decision or either a submission and win. But good win for Frevola and a needed win, I think, as well for him. You know, in front of his fans. Great for him and for Azatar. He should fight way more often, just like his brother. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I did pick him. I like the power against the chin, but it was the other way around. I was wrong with this one. I was also surprised, Georgie, that you knocked him out so quickly. Because I also, like you, Marcel, thought he'd mix in the wrestling. Carolina Kovacevic against Silvana Gomez Juarez, or as DC calls her, Silvana Juarez Gomez. He called her that like 20 times. It's just, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just so amateurish, man. Because like that's your job to get the fighter's name right. You know, that's all. You have one job. You know, Marcel. Like I think they got to get the name right. I know he said sorry, but like, come on. It was a really close fight. I think honestly, it came down to her slipping and falling over in the third round, and that's what lost her the fight at the end of the minute. Remember that? Carolina started pushing against the fence, and then Silvana fell down. But I think the real story is like the commissioner running into the cage and then changing the scorecard. I'm so confused by this because I saw the scorecards. They posted them on Junkie has them, I think. Going King. I'm still kind of confused what happened because it looked like the one judge had it 29-20 for Gomez and they changed it when it around. But they're saying that they put it into a computer system and then someone else puts it onto the paper.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's to me it was just very amateur hour-ish. If they
it
did
was.
100%, like it's 10s and 9s. You have to have 10 and 9. That's it. It's like the easiest thing to do. Like a little kid can do this.
Im- Imagine that being a title fight.
It's just controversial to me.
Yeah.
I'm glad they released. I wanted to see the scorecards because I
Me
didn't
too.
trust them just saying, "Oh, this is the proper scorecards." I'm glad they showed them, but to me, it's just the way it happened was weird.
Yeah.
The judges figure out the math again. I don't know if it was the judges, George. I think it was the guy who the judges put the scores in, and then someone else writes them down. Like after the round, I've been to like events. You've seen it too, right, Marcel? The judges sit there and they pass a piece of paper. Some guy that runs around. Then that guy writes them the scores. That guy fucked up. That guy had one job. You know, they say you had one job. That was that guy's job, and he fucked it up. What was the decision? It was just really sketchy, man. I just thought it was weird. What's up, Bircha? Any chance for McKinney Patty? They both win. I don't think UFC's going to give him McKinney, although I'd like to see that fight. Kaylee by sub had a chance in the first round, right? Like she had her back control for the entire first round. I'm surprised she didn't go back to the grappling in the rest of the fight. Like I was,
Me too.
right? Like it didn't make sense to her. I'm like, why is she letting her go back in the fight? Like, anyways, do you have any thoughts on this fight? Or you want to move on?
Nah, I thought the scorecards were the most significant from the whole fight.
What was your thought like when they were doing? Were you thinking like, what's going on here? Like, were you thinking this is kind of weird? Like,
I was thinking they really probably put it wrong on the paper. You know, that's what I was thinking initially. So you saw somebody zoomed in on it, and you saw that Gomez Juarez had that circled over a 29. You know, and then he was like scratching it.
I know it's so weird. So weird.
Yeah.
We both called this one. Mike Trezano knocks out Song Woo Choi, Marcel. We both called it. I don't know if I called a knockout, but I definitely said he was going to win. I think you called it too, right? We both picked it.
I said he was going to win. I didn't know if I called a knockout. Yeah.
The thing was, Choi to me is just a kind of a guy that doesn't fight smart either. You know, 3 straight losses now, and the fight with Josh Kulabau where he got dropped and rocked, I was like, man, this guy's not as good as we thought. And Trezano had to save his job, and he did it. You know, he really needed this win. Him missing Weili, I think this could have been fighted, and I know the fight didn't last that long. This fight was fucking amazing. Obviously, it got usurped by
double knockdown.
Yeah, the double knockdown was how crazy was that, Marcel? Like you don't see it very often in the UFC. It was a fun fight, but again, he screwed himself with the weight miss. He actually legitimately missed weight because it was like 1.5 pounds. It wasn't like Spann, where like I think Spann could have made the weight. If they gave him an extra hour, I think he could have. With this guy, it was like he missed it. But I like that he apologized for it right away. That was the first thing he said. And the guy's been in the UFC for a while now. I do think that promotion likes him. 4-3 now in the UFC, gets his first knockout. I mean, it's just a good win for him. He keeps him in the promotion. I think Choi, I want to say he's getting cut, guys, but they are going to South Korea, right, next year. What city? Is it Seoul or Busan? Or
Seoul.
Seoul.
Yeah.
I think they might keep him on that card because he is a fun guy to watch. This fight was an amazing fight. But I don't think I can pick him against many people anymore because I just think his style is just not a good style for winning fights. Yeah, he loves stadium bang. It's fun to watch, right? But it's not a smart way to fight. And then last fight, Georgie's got a question. Or sorry, there's 2 more fights. Montel Jackson. Like this fight also not a great fight, but I think this was competitive, Marcel. But that knocked down the 3rd round again. Remember I talked about on the podcast? The power was the difference for me, and I think he knocked down with a jab, and he dropped him, and Arce's eyes kind of rolled to the back of his head. It was kind of I was surprised how rocked he got from that punch. I got to be honest with you. And that lost him the fight, so it was competitive. But I thought Jackson clearly won. Go ahead.
Did you saw Jackson's hands are bigger than Ngannou's hands?
Bro, his hands are. He's just. How does he make 135? Tell me.
Yeah, I have no idea, but he does.
It's insane. And then opening up the card, Albert just completely knocks out Nikolai Negumereanu. We both called that one. I said last week, I'm like, it's either Albert early or Negumereanu late. Because I think Nick's game plan was to tire him out and just take some punches and then wait till the 2nd or 3rd round to onslaught him, but go for a blitz. But he got brutally knocked out. Where's Albert fit light heavyweight? He's an action fighter. I mean, he's won 3 straight fights, but he's not beating like the best guys. Fabio Schwartz on the UFC. Stefan Chukwi is like fighting for his job, and Nikolai is decent, but he's not top 15. And then he lost to Kennedy. So I think he's good, Marcel, but I don't think he's amazing. I don't know. Any thoughts on him, on Albert?
Yeah, I have to feel the same way, man. He's good, but I don't think Albert is that great, but we'll see. Maybe the first fight when he lost to Kennedy, maybe it was just a fuck up. We'll
he got tired. He gasped. Maybe he went from it, right? Because remember that fight with Charant, he didn't gas in that one.
Yeah,
didn't pull the
but
trigger
that
either.
was a horrible fight, man.
The Charant guy looked bad in that fight. Anyway,
They both didn't look good, to be really honest, but Alback did enough to win the fight. I
sure.
remember Henry Hooft after the fight. He said to what's the name of the city kickboxing coach again? Eugene Behrman. He said to Eugene Behrman, "I'm sorry, our guy didn't show up." That's pretty hard, man. You know?
Right. No, for sure. Overall, just an amazing card. Again, I think they should get more bonuses. It kind of reminded me of UFC 275 of this year, the Glover and Erie card where you had all those finishes, and they gave out extra bonuses. I think they showed in this card. All right, guys, let's just we'll end this podcast. We're gonna start a new stream here in a minute. We'll break down UFC Vegas 65. Any last words, Marcel? You can plug your stuff. Any last words?
What is what between 1 and 10? What would you give this card?
Probably 10.
Yeah, I go with a 9.
9.5 or 10. Like, I think it was one of the best cards of the year. I think it was one of the best ever. I mean, I thought it was an amazing card. Like, you had 11 finishes. You had 11 finishes. You had 7 first round knockouts, I think. Wait,
yeah,
1, 2, 3, or first round finishes, I should say. It was an amazing card. I love the card.
But I wanted to see, because many people tell me this is 10 and I say a 9, and everybody tells me it's a 10, and you as well, so I'm probably a bitch. So I wanted to know if
like your rating, you don't want to give out 10s to everything, but I think that this could be one of those cards that deserved it. Just the way it ended too. All right, just plug your stuff, man. We'll finish this podcast. We'll start a new one up. Go ahead.
Big Marcel 24 on Twitter and Instagram, and articles on Eurosport.nl Mixed Martial Arts section.
Twitter at MMAOB podcast, MMAOBDailyPodcast.com. Like, share, subscribe, guys. Tell your friends about it. Boogies.com. Got my best bets coming out, I think, tomorrow for the card. We'll break it down now anyways in the next show. And then MMAOBDailyPodcast.com, MiamiNews.com, also available there. All right, guys, appreciate you guys joining us for this UFC 281 recap. We're about to start the new podcast here in just a minute. Just hold on while I get it set up, and then join us to break down Louis Spivak. Talk to you guys in a few minutes. Bye.